We will have the panel My Way to Tech because, like, as you already know, tech is, let's say, a field a bit more dominated by men. So that's why we try, let's say, to make the percentage of women in technology a bit higher. And with these panels or like different activities, we try to encourage women a bit more. And especially we feel that sharing the experiences with each other is way better because they will not feel that they are alone. There are also other people feeling the same as them. So also something else that I wanted to highlight is that being in tech, it doesn't mean that you should be only a coder, programmer, but you can do a lot of things, like even marketing, or you can be a technical writer, a lot of stuff. So I think it's really important to just be passionate about it, and then you can find totally yourself doing something in tech. So I wanted to ask something before I introduce the panelists. How many of you are programmers? And how many of you are doing something not coding or not technical? Okay, that's very nice. So I want to introduce the panelists. The first one is Vladimíra Mašindová. I'm so sorry if I say the names wrong. I'm still learning Czech. She's a Scrum Master and Agile enthusiast with experience from Sneznam.cz and Kentico. She started her career at journalism and then she focused on marketing research, and later on she decided to switch for IT in her mid-30s. She's a mother of two who still sees a lot of exciting opportunities ahead. So please welcome Vladimíra. Thanks. Another amazing panelist is Anna. She's a lawyer at SimpleLaw, working on projects for IT and marketing clients, merging personal data protection in electronic communication. So she has co-founded GeekLaw, which is a non-profit project that combines law technologies and creativity and brings advanced topic of law tech to Czech Republic. She let's say, is persuaded that lawyers must be inevitably more IT-oriented, and then the law and technology should not be a specialization, but rather become a standard in the legal industry in a decade. So please welcome Anna. Next one is Iskra. She's an ambassador of Women in Tech Macedonia, and she's an enthusiast for technology that turns her passion into action. Her daily challenges are mostly regarding Kubernetes and Python, where she saw an excellent opportunity to start preparing for a tech career. She's part and a member of Coding Girls, a global network, and now she's working for IBM, where she's also an internal IBM teacher, and was named one of the brand ambassadors in IBM. So she doesn't miss major tech events like Women in Tech, and she believes in the power of building a social capital. She currently is in IBM, where she is devoted to project management and programming. So please welcome Iskra. And the last but not least is Jessica Greene. She's a career changer. Jessica is a self-taught community developer. She's very active in a lot of communities, and some of them are PyLadies, open source diversity, and Women Who Go. She fell in love with Go at the Berlin chapter user group, and she will also have a workshop today, so please feel free to join at 3 p.m. And she has joined Ecosia in October last year, where she has been able to put her passion into practice, and at the same time help plant trees around the world. So please welcome Jessica. So I know that I introduced all of you, but still I would like each of you to say something about yourself, something that you'd like to highlight, or something that is related to your work that maybe others doesn't know. So.
Okay, so I should start. Well, I will share a story how I switched from marketing to IT. It was really not very common. I was working in that marketing company where I was really dissatisfied, especially with the company culture, and I was looking for a change. So I've gone through the advertisements at Job CZ portal, and then I saw an advertisement which was called Scrum Mom. I haven't heard about Scrum before, but I was already mom. So, and it was by Seznam CZ, which is a really renowned company here in Czech Republic. I knew it's in IT area. So I've clicked on the heading and gone through the requirements. And I said, hey, this is kind of job which I can do. So I applied and they admitted me. So that's how I started my IT career.
Thank you.
Well, I think the introduction was perfect. Thank you, Jona, for this. And maybe the only thing I'd like to share with you is that I love old motorcycles and that I have at home old Java from 1962. And it's, in English they say Java, but I do not want to confuse you with the proper Java. So, that's my other passion.
Thank you for the introduction. I wouldn't have said that better. Through all this time here in Brno, I actually didn't start immediately in the IT company. I was not even sure where I'm going, but still, yet my German language took me here. Then I started thinking that it's not what I want. I don't want to be customer service with German language forever, but I would really like to deepen my knowledge in IT, and let's see what will happen. I was not offered this in my lifetime when I was leaving my home country. So when I entered IBM, I got to research, explore, not what I was given in front of me. But before all, I took my free time dedicating myself in e-learnings, because like low budget, of course, not everybody could have 600 euro for some AWS class. But I wanted to say that opportunities, learnings are everywhere. Your passion and what you will contribute to the company, it will be visible when you don't know, but still do your best. My point that I want to highlight, what took me to this point now, and I am I think I am happy and a little bit successful, but this is not yet the end. We always need to strive for more. You always need to have a vision for yourself, but don't listen to nobody that will tell you, you will be there in 10 years. I'm replying back, in 10 years? No. Why not now? And this is how we all need to have our mindset set up for success. We all have our own way to tech. Right now, I'm IBM Associate Project Manager, but I dedicate my time hanging up with my friends. But guess how? I have best friend there for Python. My other best friend for JavaScript is somewhere now in Italy. But when we meet, we use the time smartly. And another advice, it will be that we need to choose our people that we spend the most time with carefully, so that we learn something from them and we give back. Therefore, I'm also mentor in IBM. I just like to share my knowledge to anyone who use it or will need it, and I'm very thankful for that. If I miss something, I'm not sure, but most probably my mind works like 300 an hour. Feel free to approach me next in the next free time after, so that I will give my next colleague the microphone. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction, Jona. Pretty spot on. I think the only thing I wanted to add is, like you mentioned, I'm a career changer. This is true. My original studies were in media production. I then worked in film and television for 6 years. After that, I moved to Germany and learned German, and I needed a job, so I started working in a cafe, and I worked my way up to head roaster. So I've been to tech events before, making coffee, like the wonderful women that are in the room next to us or behind us. And I just wanted to say, this conference is amazing. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I think it's just excellently executed on every level. I see amazing women doing awesome things behind the scenes in every element, and I think this is just so inspiring. I'm pretty new in tech. I'm at my first job. This is like my second month as a developer at Ecosia, but I'm loving it. And I every day feel very nervous and unsure how I got here and whether I'll be able to keep it. But I am so excited to be able to share this with you and learn more about everyone's journey in the room. So yeah, thanks for inviting me to be on the panel.
Thank you. So like, I know that some of you already mentioned, but still like, I'm very curious to know how you started your journey in tech. Like, what were some of the reasons that you really like were, oh, like, I would like to be in tech?
Shall I start?
Yeah, sure.
So for me, as I told you, I was working in coffee as a coffee roaster in specialty coffee, which is a super interesting field, much more than just a milky drink that you have in the morning. But I really didn't see myself there in the next 5 years or next 10 years, and I was looking for a change. I also was working full-time, so I really didn't feel comfortable with making any dedicated move to educate myself in a completely different field. So my choice was to quit my job completely. This was really scary, and I was very lucky that Germany is an incredibly supportive country in terms of their, when you're jobless, you earn money from the government, and they also support you to do retraining. But it wasn't for the community that I got involved in, I don't think I would be here today. I think going to community groups might give you the chance to have some free education, maybe something to eat, and maybe a beer in the evening. But what it gives you even more than that is a network of people who are like a support unit. You never know where the next job is coming from, but also just people that you can share your lows and your successes with. So it took me about a year and a half. I would say I was very fortunate. I got accepted onto the Rails Girls Summer of Code program, which is a 3-month scholarship where you work on open source. This is how I met Jona. She did it the year before me. She is amazing, by the way. And through doing this, it kind of gave me that confidence to get some real world experience, because when you're sat by yourself making your own awesome project or doing online courses, it is completely different to when you start working at a company and you have to communicate with other developers. I think the other thing I would like to add before I pass the mic on is, as a career changer, it can be really tempting to think you bring nothing with you, and that couldn't be further from the truth. All of the soft skills that I had learned, managing teams, organizing camera batteries for the various film shoots I worked on, making coffees, being able to handle large orders, helped in programming. And they continue to help. And they continue to speed up my career progression, because I bring a wealth of life experience, of communication skills, and being able to work in teams. So even if you're sat there today thinking, I want to make this change, but it's going to be a complete rewipe, no, you already have so much to offer, and the industry needs you.
My beginnings, I could say it was a long time ago when I was a member of ISEC. ISEC helped me to develop my leadership potential, so this is how I got the job in IBM. The second clue player for me was becoming a member of Coding Girls. It is this global organization, similar to Chiquitas, but for me, it offers classes in English, so I could understand better. Still, I'm learning Czech, so I'm looking forward to become member of Chiquitas maybe next year when my level will be better in Czech. Those two, ISEC and Coding Girls, were for me the biggest, gave me the biggest impact in my tracing my IT career path. I do not have now clear vision what I would like to do, but I just know what I have in front of me. Artificial intelligence is my future goal for me. It is a very big area, technical or consultant. I think I'm going to choose consultancy because I'm not yet so technical, but still, because of my curiosity and open discussion for the new technologies that are coming, I think I asked myself what is the best for me. So I think that I would better match that consultant in the IT in the artificial intelligence field. So I wanted to add something very important for me. I'm reading a lot. I would say we all need to have a role model. For me, I still haven't found my role model in face-to-face, but I am following Simon online, and I really liked what he mentioned. It is that you cannot see yourself in future without having any actions. So try, experiment, iterate, then fail. Well, what? You will try it again, and then you will change your world. And I am sure that each of us is enough brilliant, reads brilliant ideas, because if you read ideas, that idea will make you to have even your own idea. So this is how we progress, and we are not falling into the trap of the closed box, like we are acting outside of the comfort. That will be all from me.
Well, as you heard from the introduction, I'm not a proper tech girl as the other girls here in the panel. I'm a lawyer. And just to clarify what it means to be a lawyer, it means that if you want to be a lawyer, you need to study 5 years in the Czech Republic just to get the general education to be a lawyer. So being an ICT lawyer is something above that. It's specialization that if you want to do, you need to work hard. And in my path to tech, there were two main milestones. The first one was during my studies at the Faculty of Law here in Brno, where I met people from the Institute of Law and Technology. They were so enthusiastic, and they shared that enthusiasm with the students. And yeah, they really showed me that there can be a specialization. They showed me a book named Code from Lawrence Lessig, who is a lawyer from Harvard University. And that opened my eyes, because what Lawrence Lessig says is that we have 4 modalities, and law is not the only way how to control or regulate people's behavior. Because the other is, for example, architecture, which is also code. And then if you realize that you can go to the website, and if the operator of the website does not want to show you a certain part of the website, he just puts their login interface. And if you do not know the login details, although you have some legal document like forbidding you to access the website, it's more effective. The architecture, the code is more effective than law, which is quite sad for the lawyers. And yeah, this really opened my eyes, and I discovered that I need to search more for this like competitor of law. The other one was our Creative Commons community, which brought me to open access publishing, open source software, and so on. And I found out that there are more areas, that law is not about only divorcing and inheritance and transfer of property. It's more about, it can be more creative if you find a way. And the last thing was that I think I gained really a deep knowledge during the studies at the law faculty, but well, the knowledge is useless if you do not have chance to apply it in the practice. And when I worked in a law firm, and in which I've been working until now, well, we had amazing clients from the IT industry and marketing, and everything fit together. So when I realized that I can apply the deep knowledge that not every lawyer has in practice, well, it was amazing realization. And since I've studied last year in the Netherlands at Tilburg University, specialization of law and technology, the master program, I realized that Czech Republic and the Czech lawyers really have to do a lot to get to the same level as the other European lawyers. So yeah, that's just the beginning of my way to tech, but yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'd like to share like 3 highlights on my way to tech. The first moment when I realized the importance of IT industry was after my maternity leave, when I was getting back to the labor market, because before of it, I worked for a marketing research agency, and we were simply conducting the phone calls via landlines that most of you cannot imagine these days, I think. So I left then for 5 years. It was between 2009 and 2014. And then I came back and I see, hey, IT is everywhere. Nobody can avoid it. Nobody can ignore it if he or she wants to be successful. So this was the first trigger, which got me to the Czechita course, Rails Girls. I realized there that I probably won't be able to code or to be a programmer, but the atmosphere there really inspired me. And the third moment I would like to point out was after my acceptance to Seznam CZ, and it was again the atmosphere of the company, and I think that this atmosphere, as well with my experience from Kentico, my current employer, is the same everywhere. It's very open, it's very informal, and you feel simply happy being there. There are no formal rules you have to obey, or there are some, but not so many of them are without some particular sense. So my like feeling when I entered Seznam was that I am at some concert, and if you imagine the situation when someone jumps in the crowd and you simply just let people to bring you on their hands. That was this kind of relaxation. I felt that I can trust those people, I can simply relax here and feel free to express all my ideas that they will be discussed. So that's what I would like to encourage you. If you are now in another industry, if you are bored with the strict rules, if you see nonsenses around you, try IT, because everything can be discussed, at least in this area.
And since you haven't studied an IT-related field, let's say, what were some of the challenges that you faced when you started in tech? Let's say?
Okay, initially it was really hard because I was at the very first days in Seznam. My task was to shadow my more experienced colleagues, and I was simply putting down all the words which were said at the meetings. And I was trying to put down all the words which I haven't understand. And after a few minutes or a few hours, I realized that I'm putting down everything except of prepositions and conjunctions, because I didn't understand even the verbs. It was everything like from some different space. But after a few days, I realized that it's not necessary to understand really all the stuff, and that I won't be even able to understand it a few years later. But it's for my position, for Agile coach or Scrum Master, it's not so necessary. You have to grasp only the basics, only the important stuff. So that was quite a challenge for me.
Well, to me, the problem was, or the barrier was, that if you communicate with a client who is tech, it's something like I think you can imagine it. People do not understand lawyers, and if lawyer talk to a tech person, it's funny. So we have a deal that we do not use legalese that often. So we try to talk like easily to that person. And from tech, we usually meet with people who are project managers or Scrum Masters and people who are responsible for the development of the app and so on. And they know that we don't understand tech that like deeply. So it's about patience and communication. But I think we are learning quickly. And what helped to me personally also were the Chiquitas courses, some of them that I attended, so to know practically what's going on. And on the other hand, if you want to explain something to the tech person, for instance, we had the situation that we negotiated a contract, one clause in a contract related to software development, and there was missing some provision about the open source software. And I was like, hey, man, are you not going to use kind of public license code or piece of a code? And he said, yes, I am. Okay, then you'll be in breach of a contract, and you'll be fined by penalty of, I think there were like $500,000 Czech crowns. So he said, why? And I was like, okay, let's put it into the contract. And he was like, yeah, public licenses, open source software. And he was surprised the lawyer knows this, and he did not realize it during the contract negotiations. So, yeah, it's from both sides. We do not understand sometimes tech people, but we try to, and we have the same with the tech people. But I think the communication is always is a skill, so it's easy to deal with this thing.
And Jessica, maybe, do you want to share something as well?
I would say I think there's many fields, perhaps in computer science, where a more traditional route is a good way to go. So if you particularly maybe want to go into much deeper into algorithms or into the maths behind it, it may be worth your while considering a degree. I think for a lot of fields in tech, this is not the case because it's such a young industry and there are many opportunities, particularly if you would like to become a web developer like myself. I do not think it is necessary per se to have a degree. You need a lot of time, though. And I think one of the struggles of not having this route or not choosing to do this when you are younger and a student is the financial aspect. So when I decided to quit my full-time job, I was so nervous. Like, how do I make rent for 3 months? How do I support myself for the next 3 months? As I told you, Germany is fantastic in the way that it does support people who have been paying into the system. And I am very fortunate being a cis, white, heterosexual woman in society that I have a lot of privilege that carries that. But that's not the case for everyone. And I think that you need to buy yourself time. So there's so much online that you can do for free. As you mentioned, it's, accessible, it is out there, but you need to be able to support yourself while you're doing it. So I think this is one of the struggles if you're not at the age where you're going into university or you're maybe have a family or you're a mother, that is really, really hard. With PyLadies, we're also trying to do a lot of workshops where we try and offer child care during the workshop or organize it at hours that are more accessible for people that have families, because these things really need to be considered when you're going to essentially take the family's financial support and kind of put it in this idea of changing your career.
Okay, I would like to add something, and nothing in life, when you succeed something, didn't come back from the comfort zone. As you mentioned, we all struggle. I'm having a full-time job, but maybe I don't like it. So I'm also having this sacrifice of my life. We all want to spend time with friends, for your own self, for your partner, and for your family. But so this is a struggle, how you can get rid of that 8-hour job and to switch the career. So you want to be technical. It cannot be done like out of hobby. You need to have it practically. So my understanding, I said I'm here foreigner, so who will sponsor me, right? If I lose my job and I just study technical or Python or so, one way could be to choose your friends carefully and spend friends' time, but in learning mode. So that was my only solution, which I am still doing, and I think there is progress.
So, what do you consider as your biggest, let's say, success in your tech career, and especially, what do you consider as your biggest learning opportunity?
Would you like to start?
Okay. Well, I will not share big success, but small piece of success is when some of developers in my teams starts to speak to me in his or her tech language, and simply didn't realize that I'm the person who haven't studied that and didn't realize. So I let them usually a few minutes and say, hey, it's nice that you believe that I understand you, but please take it to the simpler level. So that's piece of success that shows me that I am accepted by those people, even when I haven't studied this area.
Well, for me, in law area is the biggest success is if you do some success before a court. And at this moment, we have, after the change of the criminal procedure code, we a bit fight with police because they ask our clients for electronic data that are important as an evidence in the criminal investigation. But the police is not well educated in this sense, so very often when they request for some electronic data, we refuse it, and we don't want to give them the electronic data, even more when the data belong to the users of our clients, when they provide, for instance, SaaS and so on. So, and we achieved a huge success now because regarding IP addresses, because there is a gap in the law, and if you are not electronic services provider, you don't have an obligation to store IP addresses of the users who access your website, for instance, website or web application and so on. So we refused these requests and said, if you do not have a court permission, we will not give you the data. And the success is that the police applied for the court permission, and which means that the court is starting thinking about the fact that IP address may be in a certain way personal data, maybe, or it should be secured in a certain way, and the police should not just ask for it like this from the table. So this is a success, recent success in our office.
For me, success, I can measure success by just even the chance of thinking of IT like the most important thing, like in nowadays happening. I cannot imagine nothing that can be done without IT. So for me, big success is working in an IT company that actually I am in the environment. So everything that will follow, it's about me. It's hanging on me, like my action. So for me, I think that I'm already successful becoming this way or my way. I don't have any clear definition of what is success, but I know when I finish one goal, I just immediately have another goal. So I'm just going for that. This is for me success.
I think I feel very successful for making it as a software engineer and being able to work for a company like Ecosia that uses tech for what I would consider a very important cause. We plant trees in around 15 countries with over 20 different projects, fighting climate change, also helping the people that live where we plant trees to rebuild up work opportunities, food resources. And I think being able to work at a company like that is super rewarding, and being able to work there as a software engineering is really personally awesome. However, I would also say for me what is hugely important is that I'm able to continue doing community work alongside doing this job, and is supported by the company that I work for. As Senta said this morning in the keynote, I really do feel that it is important to help others alongside yourself. I listened to an amazing podcast called Call Your Girlfriend, and they have this theory that they call Shine Theory, which is about supporting other women in the workplace or that are friends in their successes, and that you build that together. So through getting into tech, I have made some amazing friends. You're correct. I spend a lot of time learning, but also with friends. And I think having that opportunity to build a group together and move forwards together has really been the key to this success.
Thanks. So like until now we were mostly like thinking or let's say sharing like kind of positive parts, but I would be like more interested to also hear not negative parts, but I would say, have you ever like, I don't know, felt that it was very difficult for you being in tech? Like that it was a moment that you really wanted to give up, but still you continued? And if yes, like you had this moment, what was the thing that changed your mind? Or if someone motivated or I don't know, try to still encourage you to keep up the work that you were doing?
Changing career to any career is scary, full stop. Like, I think, you come out of school, you maybe go to university, you get into your first job, you feel very confident, you have the cockiness of youth, perhaps, and then saying, I'm going to put that to one side and learn something new and go in a field where people have been doing it for a lot longer than yourself is really nerve-wracking. And this change into tech was no different than that. I would say we talk a lot about imposter syndrome in tech, and everyone feels that, like, no lie. My palms are super sweaty sitting up here. I am very nervous to be sat in front of a room of amazing people. I feel very intimidated being on a panel with such fantastic women who do awesome jobs. Don't think that we've got everything put together and that this is not a struggle. It is a struggle, but you'll get through it. And you get through it by having a community and having people support you.
Was the question about struggle or
Yeah, like
I know.
If you ever like. Okay.
But I wanted to say, since I removed any negative words from my vocabulary, I don't feel no struggle nor no. I did wrong. No, like I'm okay. Thank you. I've been in a situation when my manager told me, "You want to be technical? You're a team leader." But I said, thank you. That was a strategic, like that was the click point when I actually realized why this person thinks like that. And actually, I think that those people are helping us. Maybe I accepted that like a really negative, let's say, how to say, like when you turn the negativity into strength. So this is what I'm doing now. Maybe that's why I'm here. I was triggered more to learn and to understand that person, why he's saying this. And I actually, he was right. I didn't know anything about technology. I wanted to be technical. But when I ask you, what technology? Can you tell me the answer? At that moment, I didn't know. I knew I want to be technical. So this helped me, like never took that words like negativity or something that you are very bad or you will not go there, no way. Yes, everybody has the potential. We have all brains, we are all intellectual, we are learning, we are reading, we are listening, we are visiting these nice conferences. Maybe there will be a few more. I wanted to also share with you how I actually got last year on the We Are Developers conference in Vienna. It was because of my membership of the Coding Girls and my contribution, my interactivity. I wrote them and I read that you can also be a content writer or you can share your inspirational story or whatever. And they see that, so they will offer you either they will offer you something for your contribution to them. So this is how I went to the We Are Developers conference in Vienna, and I'm still trying to find this kind of nice supporting organizations. So yeah, this is my open mind that I never think of something like a failure.
Well, to be honest, in the field where what I do or the job that I do is, well, there is a huge lack of women. I do not meet girls who are into law and technology. So thanks to God, the whole environment is very welcoming if they see somebody who is curious and interested to this field. So from this perspective, I can't say that there was some barrier or something. The only barrier that there is in ourselves, because law is still changing. There are still new things, new information, and you have to be. You still need to dive into articles and books and so on. So at a certain moment you can get tired of it, which happened to me last year when I was writing the master thesis in the Netherlands, and my supervisor recommended to me change the topic twice, and I was like, oh my God! In Brno I got grade A after writing the thesis for 3 weeks, and here I'm really struggling with the thesis, but there was. From his point of view, it was the best thing he could do, because finally I finished the thesis, but I wanted to give up 6 times, literally 6 times. I was crying in the evening at home, and my husband was like, no, you have to finish it, really. You have all the exams. The master thesis is just the end. And it was difficult, and I think if I gave up, it would be a totally personal failure, but I'm totally happy that I did not give up. And it made people stronger. So the only barrier that we have in my field, it's like personal barriers that we create. And I wish all of you that if you sometimes come across a similar barrier like me last year, really keep up and wish you a lot of energy and power and everything to go on. It is really worth it.
Okay. What is hard about my work is that as an Agile coach, you are more like coach to people. So you cannot simply see some tangible results behind you. So sometimes it's hard to motivate myself because if you are helping teams, they can either succeed and it's their success, or they can fail and it can be as well your fail. But what helps me a lot is that we have a community of Agile coaches and we support each other. We share our ups and downs, and we help each other with supervising or giving each of other advice what to do in that specific situation, because it's very similar in general. So I was not considering to leave IT because of the great atmosphere. What I am sometimes considering is switching for, let's say, UX designer or some other kind of job, which will allow me to see some tangible results behind me. But I will not definitely leave the IT area itself because it's really great.
Thanks. So since we're almost near the end, I would like to have only one question from the audience that Teresa will tell us.
Sure. Before I do, I just want to say, ladies, wow, I mean, so much admiration to all of you. starting a tech career after having a child, changing your career, you know, following your dreams. Hats off. Amazing. Really amazing. So to read one of the questions, here's a question from Faith, who is asking, have you always had a passion for programming or tech, or did you have to work towards it? And she adds, I want to love coding, but I have always been challenged too. Who'd like to take that up?
I mean, for me personally, I did have an interest in tech and kind of some engineering. I always felt dissuaded to do it while I was in school. But that doesn't mean that every bit of tech that I pick up I find easy or I enjoy. There's plenty of things I've started doing and thought, not maybe my gig. For instance, I'm very interested in AI and machine learning, but I realized like business analysis is not my thing. Like I just don't care that much. So I think it's totally fine if you don't like everything first time you try it. I think it's really good. I'm not sure where Faith is, but I think it's really good if you like keep going and persevere. But I think it's also totally fine to say this thing's not for me and move on to look at a different area. Like tech is so varied in the different fields that you can go into that I think if you're just pushing against a brick wall with one thing, maybe try something slightly different.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else would like to respond to that one? I think we have time for one more, if that's okay, Jona.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's a very simple question. Is there anything you really like about your job? One thing, maybe even one or two words. Is it the community? Is it the work itself? Is it the learning?
It's self-time management.
So what, sorry?
Self-time management.
Self-time management.
If you would like to invest in yourself, you could maybe better find a work or make time or a nice schedule. But I don't work according to schedule. My actual job offers me this time management, so I can thankfully of that I can invest in my knowledge more when I want and when I feel happy, when I feel the mood. This is when I most learn.
Well, in my job, it's definitely a challenge because usually, like 90% of the issues that I solve at work have not been solved yet, which means that I'm the one who has to think about the solution and who determines how the law will be applied in the future. And this is amazing.
For me, it's changing a lot. It's challenging a lot, and I think that I definitely will not get bored by this job.
That's right.
So no more? Okay, so like since we are, as I said, in the end, I would like if you can say one advice for all the women participants or to everyone.
Okay, one advice, don't be afraid. Use your time today to ask us if you have any questions, and there are a lot of opportunities for all of the people, women, to try it. So feel free to come and ask us, and don't be afraid that IT is some strange, dangerous area where it's prohibited, like for women. It's not true.
Well, from my side, never stop being curious, please. It's the best thing you can do in your life, and it's not only in the area of your job, of your work, but anywhere. And if you stop being curious, then your life becomes really sad. So that's my also wish to you.
We share the same first point. Be curious, never stop exploring. Second, appreciate others and appreciate yourself more, which means cleverly choose again your friends around you, and never reject any challenge. Because if you accept challenge, you will. If you accept challenge, you will go across the border. But if you do not accept the challenge, you will never learn yourself. Until when are your limits? So that are basically my checkpoints.
Yeah, similarly, I would say speak to your neighbor, speak to the people that you're sat around here at this conference. I can see, and I've already met a really large bunch of awesome women and men here. So I would say find out the stories of the people around you, find the inspiration in that. You never know where the paths may lead and where they may cross again.
So thanks a lot for all these inspiring stories that all of you had. Like, I'm sure that it's not only me inspired, but like everyone here. So like really thank you for like all this like advices that you gave and everything. I wanted to close with a quote that it really fits to me, but I think that also to other people. I learned to always take on things I had never done before because growth and comfort do not coexist together. So thanks everyone, and see you around and enjoy the event.
Thank you.